Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing tonight? You're a good-looking audience. I'm glad to see you. We have got several announcements that we'll get to later, but I do want to say my welcomes and thank you for coming to our annual spring concert. As you know, in the fall, we do our concert with the choir, and their concert's going to actually be later on this week. So come back out and support them, but we're really glad that you're here tonight to support us. We are doing something actually different this year. We're also going to do another performance of this during school on Thursday for all of our students, so I'm really excited about that too. But thank you for coming, parents and friends and family. If there are any administrators in the audience, if you would just kind of wave at us and say, we'll say thank you for being here. I know there's one from a different school, but I won't mention that. But thank you for being here. I also want to say, I don't get to do this very often, but my parents are here tonight, so thank you for coming. They just kind of happened to be in town for the week. They're from New Jersey, and they drove for the week, not to see me, but to do things on their own. But I'm glad they're here to see me tonight. And they have a granddaughter in the concert, too, so it's not really about me, but all right. I'll take it anyway. We've got several things on the horizon tonight. It's kind of a longer concert for us. We have 9 pieces of music, which we don't normally have that much. I promise you we will keep it brief, and it'll probably be right at about an hour, but I think you'll enjoy it anyway. We've got a couple of guest conductors, a percussion ensemble performance, so I hope that you've gotten a program. If you don't, then they're right outside the door. And without further ado, we will introduce our first conductor. That's Mr. Andrew Calkin.
The first piece there was called Olympiada. It's by a guy named Samuel Hazo. One of the most interesting things I found about the piece was that in the little, he's got about a whole page worth of stuff. I won't read all that to you, but the most interesting thing I figured was that he says that's the first piece he actually wrote for wind band. For the first shot, that's pretty good. So they did a real good job of that. So thanks for coming to our concert, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Ware.
Thank you very much. That was Amerland by a Swedish composer, Jacob de Haan, with 2 A's, Haan. The next piece we got coming up is a little bit of a throwback, in my opinion, to my heritage. I like being considered being an Irishman, This is a Celtic song. I really, really enjoy Celtic music. It's got a lot of driving percussion. The kids really enjoy playing this, and it's kind of a fun piece. This is Celtic Ritual by John Higgins. Thank you very much. That featured, let's see, who was the solo on that? Jordan White on flute solo. Give her a hand. Lily Kaiser on alto sax. Did I miss anybody? Was that it? I'm real bad at not looking at the score and forgetting who's playing solo, so good job, guys. Coming to the podium in just a second is a very special young lady that we normally, I guess it's been about 3 years or so that we've done this. A lot of times we'll have guest conductors up, but it started a few years ago. One of our drum majors said, "Hey, can I conduct a piece in the concert?" And we said, "Sure, why not? We don't see a reason why not. It's a good experience. It's something that they wanted to do. It's that particular person wanted to go on in music education, so we said that's a great opportunity. So we decided to let them do it. Tonight we actually have 2 guest conductors. It's our 2 wonderful drum majors that we've had this past year. So first, coming to the podium to conduct "When Jesus Wept" is Miss Jordan White. So give her a hand as she comes up.
Next, there we go. Next is a percussion ensemble piece. I've started a percussion class this semester just for the percussionist and Lena, who plays the clarinet. She asked me earlier, do I have to get up to go play the bass drum? I said, well, you're not going to play it from your seat with your clarinet. So we were one person short on this piece, and Lena, who is my aide in fourth block during percussion class, figured she could play with us. So she's going to play bass drum. But we have a fourth block class. We just do percussion ensemble. We worked on a lot of different things. We thought we'd play one piece for you that we've been working on. So we put it right in the middle of the concert. Hopefully they're ready so I can stop talking. All right. This is called Bound for Marrakesh. It's written by a guy. They're from Nashville, roll-off percussion by the name of Chris Brooks.
Let's give it up one more time for the percussion ensemble. We're going to go ahead and call our second guest conductor to the stage. That's Mr. Tyler Carroll. And he will be conducting How Great Thou Art. Go ahead and give him a hand. Before he starts, I know they have a little bit of resetting to do in the percussion section, so I'm going to say something real quick. What people don't realize a lot of times is that it's not just these students that come up and just wave their arms. They actually go through the whole process of rehearsing the band during class. They're in front of them just like we are as the directors, and they're giving instruction and correcting things. And we do conducting lessons. I mean, we spend a lot of time together in the office going, was that good or bad? Now how do I do this? Now how do I take it? And I mean, even before the concert, we just went over how to take a bow. So, all the little things are important, including making yourself look good. So, I want to really commend these two. I mean, we'll talk about more at the band banquet, but these guys have really done a great job this year, and we are totally going to miss them when they're gone. They've been really, really great leaders. So, we're really sad to see them go. And if I don't stop talking, I'm going to cry. So, give it up for Tyler one more time.
All right. Now, if you look at the next piece of the program, it's a piece called Airborne. Okay? When you look to the right of that, there's a name there that says David Seth Hall, born in 1997. Okay? That's a young fellow. Well, he's sitting right there playing horn. He came up to me one day and he said, "Mr. Coggin, I've been working on this piece. Can we play it one day in band?" I said, "Sure, why not?" Then we played it in band. And I said, "Hey, that's really good. We're going to play it on the concert." So, the world premiere of Airborne by David Seth Hall. So we're going to play. All right, great job to Seth on that. Let's give him a hand. Percussions, can't do anything. I can say that, doesn't it? Run up my minutes. All right. The next piece is one of the pieces that we played at Concert Festival, which we held here the week before spring break. This one's called American River Songs by a guy named Pierre Lafont. It's made up of three different tunes. You'll hear the tunes throughout the piece. There's three very different sections. So you hear the three. The piece starts with one tune, goes into a slow section with another tune, and then ends with another fast section with another tune. So it's made up of these three river songs, and they played this for Concert Festival just a few weeks ago. So American River Songs. On that one, we had Alex on the oboe with the solo. We had Haley right there on the alto saxophone. We had Jordan and Shelby on the piccolo and flute little duet. We had Colby on the trumpet. And last but not least, something that you don't see very often, Tristan on the tuba with a solo. All right. I wrote a couple of things down. Before we close the concert, we always have to have some announcements. So, I got a couple, and I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. I was told by Ms. Conway before this, they've been trying to do the sheet order forms, and they've asked for the sheet order forms, and they still haven't gotten them. But they discovered that on Charms, you can print the sheet order forms off. All right, so you can go in there, print them off, and take orders. I think I might have one also that I can make copies of, and then we're going to go ahead and do that. So the sheet order forms, they're available on Charms, and also I'm trying to get.
Hell.
All right, and I'll try to get those printed off. Next thing, on the band website, there's a couple of things that need to be filled out. There's one call we're calling a commitment form, and what that is a commitment form for marching band for next year. What that is saying is, if you fill that out, you're committing to be a marching band. It has all the information on the form. And the best reason we have for that is so when we get the drill written, we know exactly how many people we have. That way we know how many spots to write drill for. All right, so fill that out. And the other thing that's on there is the registration for the band banquet, which is next Friday on the 25th. All right, it's going to be in this building. It's the 25th. Today, I'll leave it up until tomorrow morning, but today is the last day that you can register to do that. You don't have to pay me by today, but if you want to sign up to be at the band banquet, you can do that about tomorrow morning at class time. I'll take it down. We have to do that so we can get the information to the people for the food. All right. I think that's all I have, and I will turn it over to Mr.
Thank you. I also have some announcements. Surprise, surprise. I've been asked by the boosters to make a couple of announcements. That is, concession stand cleanup will be this Friday, from 6 to 8 p.m. So just show up. The more that show up and help, the faster it'll get done. At the ticket booth, where you came in and where you're probably going to leave, you'll see a little piece of paper that looks like this. This is a ballot. Hopefully you know what that is. Hopefully you know who's on it. And if you don't, then you can put somebody else on it. There's several write-in spots. These are for our booster officers. That needs to be done tonight before you leave, so please make sure you take care of that as you exit tonight. As Mr. Coggins said, band banquet is Friday, April 25th at 6 o'clock. Make sure you are making plans to attend that. It's always a great event for us. There's over 100 people signed up for it right now, which is awesome. So make sure you sign up. We do have a website, bradleyband.org. If you've lived under a rock, you don't know that, but otherwise you should know that. So check us out on Facebook and Twitter as well. Let's see. Oh, I always get yelled at for this every concert we have. So I'm going to actually do it, and I hope that those people that yell at me are actually here. If there are any Bradley Band alumni in the audience, I would like to recognize you. Stand up, wave at us, give us a hoot and holler or something. Hey, welcome. I'm telling you, it's usually the kids that graduated a year or two ago that are like, Mr. Ware, you never said alumni. So now I'm saying it, okay? There's a couple other things that I really just want to mention before we do our last song. We did host Concert Band Festival here on March 20th and 21st, and we got an excellent rating. I think that you can see why we have a great band here, and I'm really proud of them. But moreover, I depend on you as parents and family members and people that love the fine arts to advocate for the fine arts. Because if you don't do it, nobody will. Because if you want to see and hear the things that are going up on stage continuously, then you need to call your administrators and say, the band did such a great job, thank you for supporting our fine arts. Send an email. Do whatever you gotta do to keep this going. Financially support us. Everything that goes into this, I mean, we have a donation trumpet case outside. Last time we had a concert, we made almost $100, which really came in handy because, like, for instance, this week we had a flip cam die, and I had to buy one today for $100. So it's stuff like that. Stuff happens. Stuff we have to get replaced. So it's little things. But if I could tell you one thing, if you enjoy what you're hearing and what you're seeing, and you want it to continue, please tell somebody about it. Tell somebody that you love music. It doesn't matter what it is, choir, band, anything in the theater. Come and support the fine arts. Patronize your fine arts. Go see a play. Tell somebody about it. But that's the biggest thing that we can do. I am thankful for parents that were very supportive of my fine arts. And that's why I'm here doing what I'm doing today. So I'm very appreciative of all of you for being here. And we will conclude with our last song, which is a fun Spanish march by Jamie Texador, and it's called Amparito Roca. This is one of our favorites. Thank you for coming. That's all, folks. Have a good night. Drive carefully.
Now.